I cannot believe that of the 3 attempts in the last 16 years to turn this idea into a franchise, this is the one that stuck.
Why are you doing this to us? Because you're here.
So just to recap, the original film starred Liv Tyler. It was a divisive horror film, but had a lot of potential. Teased a sequel, didn't do anything with it. Then, about 10 years later, they made The Strangers Pray at Night, starred Bailey Madison, Lewis Pullman. It was family-centered, teased a sequel, didn't get there, no. And then 6 years later, they have made another film, which is just a rehash of the first one, but with a whole trilogy planned out around the idea this time, and made the worst one yet. And that's the one they're stuck with for the whole trilogy. That's so funny. The Strangers Chapter 1 stars Madeleine and Froy Gutierrez, because nothing screams masterclass in acting like bringing Riverdale and Teen Wolf together. They're a young couple whose car breaks down in the middle of Buttfuck Nowhere, Oregon, and then they decide to stay the night in the town even though everyone there seems super creepy. They chill out at the house they're renting, they smoke some weed, they get home invaded by 3 people who won't stop asking about bloody Tamara, and they basically just rehash a lot of bits from the original film, but do it worse, and manage, despite it being very similar to the first film, they managed to add in so much extra crap that makes it feel like utter American horror slop. These strangers, once just scary, senseless, mad people, are now omnipotent gods who are impossible to spot unless they want to be seen. The couple are about as observant as the dead bird hanging over their heads the entire time they eat their dinner. I mean, it starts dripping blood on them, but only after they've finished their dinner. How was it up there that entire time dead, not dripping blood on them? Doesn't matter. But the point is that either it was up there the entire time, or one of the strangers managed to loop it over the thing to be right over them just at that moment while they were eating their dinner, and they didn't notice. They're the most unobservant people in existence. It's so frustrating. And also, instead of slow burning to try and really have a kind of middle of the film in this, it's hard with a home invasion film, because you do, once they knock down the door, once they're in the house, that's the finale you're in now. That's the oh shit moment. You go from first act to finale straight away, okay? This, I mean, it's only 15 minutes longer than the original film, but it feels a lot longer, because they arrive in the town, they get into the house, all of this, and then fairly quickly after you start, like, ramping things up, they break down the door with an axe. And then they break down the door of the room they're hiding in with an axe as well. And then they just walk away. Oh, it's so annoying. They basically try to have a middle of the film this time around by just, oh my god, it's happened. No. Then they just walk away, and then they just hang out in the house. Don't try to kill them for like the next 20 minutes. The de-escalation of that just slows the film down to a standstill and makes... I just checked out at that point. I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? And it's so frustrating. This is such an exercise in dumbing down a horror idea, filling it with unnecessary, randomized jump scares, and literally trying to hide from the bad guys in a pile of twigs and dried leaves. And the worst part is that worked. The bad guys always know where they are. They're always able to track them for 90% of the film. But when she decides to hide herself in the pile of twigs and dried leaves, that's when they can't hear her. They can't find her. It's mad. As if that wasn't bad enough, the boyfriend character is walking around with a shotgun for about half an hour. Doesn't shoot any of these 3 people. Even when he's standing right here behind one and is all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot you. And they just wrote him that stupidly because they'd already decided this was a franchise and they wanted to keep all the killers alive. Like, it's just... The makers of this film could give a TED Talk on how to write stupidly. It is also made by the mastermind behind Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Die Hard 2, and Exorcist the Beginning. So just a guy who really knows how to take an idea, a great concept, and make it so much worse. Just so much worse. We've basically got 3 versions of Jason Voorhees here. They make no sounds. They can creep up on you whenever they want. They, like, literally, they can creep up on you without ever making a sound in a creaky old house and in a forest covered with so many dried leaves. So many. And that's basically the only 2 places they chase them. And they never once, like, turn around and go, aha. There's the one time the guy creeps up on them and he just doesn't shoot. It's so annoying. I just think it is so frustrating, the entire idea behind this, and I really desperately hope that this is at least going to be the worst one of this trilogy, but how often is the first one the worst? It doesn't often happen, yeah, so I'm giving shoot them already, you dumb bastard, 1.5 stars. This frickin' man, this boyfriend, not only does he not shoot them, he needed his inhaler in the opening scene where they almost crashed the car. He didn't then need it for the first hour of getting chased around by these psychopaths. So frustrated I could spit.